a bit earlier, but unfortunately, as usual, it has been a really hectic, very, very hectic 24 hours or so. May I thank all who have had contributed so much the last few hours for the things that we needed to have put in place. And I thank all of you again for your very wonderful support for the Federation and for our Project 7 Phoenix agenda. As you see, I did not have time, as I usually do, to prepare or to put on my traditional wigs. I have to face you today as I am, so please do not mind. I just did not have time, or I would be later. So thank you, and let's hope this program goes as I planned. Because of the time zone difference, at present, a lot of the task force applicants were not able to participate as much as we wanted to. Unfortunately, one of the trainers has fell out. He cannot participate at this moment to support the training. And the other one is also in a different time zone. So I am trying, as usual, to jump in where I can and when I can. I will therefore try to recap as best I can what have been discussed or what have been explained so far. The broadcast for yesterday, unfortunately, was not saved because of a technical error, which I caused, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. But I know those who were viewing were able to view live, but we were not able to save that. Yesterday, we were discussing that it's very important that the members of the task force are able to find their way around the sites. It is important because, as explained, I will just go back briefly to what was discussed so you're up to date, because further there is a few broadcasting that explains that, also from Deputy Charge of Affairs Numu Talib El Amin. What we discussed yesterday and the day before yesterday is the need for respect of the people to whom we are all representing. Respect of their traditions, respect of their laws, respect of their person. You cannot represent anyone, any group, any collective unity, any nation, if you do not respect the people first and foremost. We cannot go into any region and say we would like to help you, we wish to help you, if we do not respect them as co-equal human beings. It's very important. And especially as the task force, you have yourself a responsibility to see that it is done and to see that it is well reflected, because what you reflect is the Federation, is our intention, is the throne. And I am pretty simple and down to earth, and I would like to have that represented as it is and no different. We as well highlighted a lot about the Federation headquarters, and I am very happy about that. It took us 6 years creating it. We did because I believe humanity is moving forward at the speed of light. And in order that we as well become progressive in our actions and use the tools that are available to us, we also must become progressive in the application of how we do and how we address the agenda. For that, over the last, I think, 6 years, if not more, we did really a lot to see how we can improve the websites, how we can expand on the information that is given, how we can make it a bit easier for you to maneuver. I do know that a lot of people are still having problems, and I promise I will try my best to have that rectified. Unfortunately, we do not have as many on the site working on it as I would like to. So it is taking some time, but step by step by step, we will get there. Just have faith and just keep that faith in us that it will be done. The site is important because in nations moving forward, technological advancement and all that is there to be offered, within Africa, we must take the opportunity, we must use that opportunity, and not only within Africa, outside of Africa, in the countries where we do not have the facilities in the more developed nations or the access to it. Therefore, there is internet. Use the internet. There's the possibilities to have your websites and your websites being active. Do that. We went a step further, creating an e-headquarters to cover more than 275 offices. I keep saying 275 offices because that is the easiest for me to remember because of the calculation Africa internal, but there's a lot more. It's very, very, very important to understand the purpose of the headquarters. So I will, if you do not mind who has watched yesterday, I will try to explain again. If first I better explain Project 7 Phoenix again. Project 7 Phoenix is the development, the simultaneous development of the 55 African nations as a royal kingdom's agenda. We do not involve in politics, but we do work in collaboration and we do support, but we do not get involved in politics. We are kingdoms. In Africa, there's the law, the kings and the queens take care of the sovereign territories of the kings and the queens, which falls within the nations and crisscrossing the nations covering entire Africa. It is important to remember that whether someone is in the kingdoms or not in the kingdoms, they're all part of one of the nations and one of the tribes. Some do not like the tribes anymore. I'm very proud of that because it's an identity. They're all a part of it. And in order for us to succeed in this mission, we must be unified in this effort. The project means the simultaneous development of the 55 nations and the duplication thereof within the poverty-stricken or the areas outside that may need help as best we can. Then the question comes, Africa is poor, we shall say in parentheses. How on earth can Africa help anyone else? Africa is not poor. Africa has the potential to do much more, has the possibility to do much more, but must use and exercise the opportunities to do much more. Africa has the largest base of resources at so many levels and so many facets that there is. However, we must apply the resources in the right way to sustain development and not only empower the people economically, socially, culturally, but also to be able to participate as co-equal partners globally in the actions and activities that is needed to address the care and welfare of humanity. That's important. The kingdoms have no less an obligation to see to that, because though we have our people inside of Africa, they live outside of Africa too. They also have their neighbors outside, be it of that nation or be it of whatever nation. Humanity is one. Therefore, within Africa, this agenda is important, and outside of Africa, the agenda is important, but most of all, it's important that it must be simultaneous in the 55 countries. Why? If we were to address the agenda in one country, one province, one district of one region, what are we telling the rest of the nation? Please wait until we have the loans, the funds, the facilities, or the will to do it simultaneously. It's not right. It means, again, generations and generations of people will be living their lives in conditions that no one should have to. And again, the repetition of it, whilst we have all in our power, we have so much technology there, we have so much opportunity, but we do not have the collective will to use it and apply it strategically to make the difference. Project 7 Phoenix means going into every single country, nook and cranny of the kingdoms to address the agenda in terms of the development thereof. It means in order to apply the agenda strategically, it must be well managed. Therefore, the protocol for that is within, we say national, although we mean all the kingdoms region, within each of the nations, we will be posting one Federation Royal Ambassador or expanding on those who are there already. Under that party, we will have 5 provincial heads, which is very important for the east, west, north, and south of the country. Under the provincial head offices and those parties responsible, we have within each and every district, every nook and cranny, sub-offices that are then linked to the respective chiefdoms and kingdoms, palaces, secretariats, offices, whatever there, and as well our own offices established. That's important. And that must be duplicated within all 55 countries. On the continental scale, it's the same. Within every regional continental province of Africa, therefore North Africa, East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, Central Africa, and so forth, we then will be placing as well bodies, head offices that are responsible for that regional continental area. It's important. So all fall under the other. The central station and the central organ where all the communications will be guarded, where the information will be guarded, where the project is as well directed in terms of the communication part, the planning part, the strategy part that is not necessary directly on the ground and in coordination with those on the ground, will be our e-headquarters. Of course, we got to be progressive. When we have the e-headquarters now, it means the present population of the ArcNubia is very small because we kept it small. We established it in 2009. I am not very good on social network outside of my wall and Facebook, and I pretty much stay to that when I'm there. But I'm not that versed in all of it, but I do know it's very important, it's very critical, it can be used as a fundamental tool of change. Equally, it can be very dangerous if misused. I rather use positively. The possibility of the ARC is for the self-same population or more as, for example, the Facebook or the MySpace and Instagram and Pink Interest. I can't pronounce that word. Pink Interest or something. It's pretty much the same, but we have kept it extremely small because in accordance to phase 7 of the planning, all of those offices, sub-offices, head offices, main offices, that covers then the continent and duplicated outside will be therefore connected to that headquarters as the central international headquarters, where we would have, and we do have a team, and expanding on that, of people of Africa and of all nations, all races, whatever the religious orientation, ideologies, or what may be. We just want, need, desire, and we'll be so very happy to have those that are committed, just committed, really wanting to see the change, really wanting to see this happen, and really fighting for it no matter what. The central headquarters is important. At present in Africa, not everyone has the possibility or the ability to have internet at home, a computer at home. Many don't have electricity, but the majority do have cell phones. And in many of the hospitals and clinics, cell phones are used as a part of the medical protocols of tools. They use it also when they are taking people's pulses and such. So everyone at whatever hour of the day have access to the central headquarters, will have access to the regional headquarters, etc., that there's always feedback, there's always information, and always someone that is keeping an eye on what is going on. It's important. Therefore, in order to take care of that, to manage that, and to support Task Force 3, which is for humanitarian, peace and foreign affairs research, to see that that is also addressed and applied within the agenda, we have the Task Force 3. We have Task Force 2, which is the management of this entire project to see towards the execution, realization, and construction thereof. And we have Task Force 1, that is the most important at present, because that is the one that needs to be expanded to support these offices and to create the Arc Royal chapters that has to be expanded internationally in order for this project to really be successful. I like as much and as best as I can to see that things are well organized. I am a bit of a perfectionist in that, therefore, absolutely and utterly frustrated the last week at the delays and the technical issues that we have had to face. I do so sincerely apologize to all. And also, if I'm not that eloquent today, it's because I am a bit tired. But never too tired to come and take care of my responsibilities and speaking to you, because it is an honor, it's a pleasure, and I thank you so very much for giving me that opportunity. It's important, the task force as well, for promoting and educating on the agenda, building and expanding as best we can on the program towards the 2013-2014 planning, which is the Royal Tournaments. I know I keep touching on the Royal Tournaments and not much, is because I think it's just such an important thing, and it should and is an integral part of the agenda. The 55 Nations Development means we are going into the region first of all. And our first questions is not only what can we do, but what do you have at this moment that can be used to see how we can stimulate employment for the people whilst we are doing or addressing the development agenda. Because, as I said before, it's useless building roads while the people of the region are falling dead alongside the road because of the time it's taking and because they have no food. So therefore, if we go there and they have X, Y, or Z, one part of the team has as a priority mission to see how can we support and how can we help them generate a needed income in order that they themselves can participate as owners of the project, therefore an integral part of it. With that, that's Task Force 1's responsibility. Task Force 2, under that, now addresses the Project 7 Phoenix development agenda to expand immediately and best as we can the infrastructure, or work on the infrastructure, which is the key to all that has to be built. Infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. It's important. Without infrastructure, you cannot possibly have economic sustainment or growth. The infrastructure is important. Unfortunately, in many parts of Africa, the infrastructure is not there, but there's the possibility to have it done, and it must be done. And it must be done now, not tomorrow. Now, it is needed. We cannot have a continuation of how it is now, and we cannot keep making excuses. It's weak. Once the agenda starts, it's the turnkey agenda, and we'll be addressing every facet of that infrastructure needed and a very strong accent on inter-African trade and external trade within the regions in order that we generate the income that is needed to pay for the agenda as needed. Africa is not poor. We have the resources, a massive amount of resources that when used in the right way can support the development of Africa and can also help us have our self-esteem and integrity being built and our people being able to smile with pride when we can offer another support and help, and not as always at the other end of thank you very much, thank you very much. It is time for change, and we can do it. We can do it. If we say Africa is the cradle of all nations, Africa is the birth cradle of all nations. Africa is the birth cradle of all people. Therefore, Africa has a responsibility as well. Is that not so? Has the mother not the responsibility for the child? Therefore, has she not for the children? If we say Africa is Mother Africa, therefore is Mother Africa for all born of the cradle of Africa, and therefore responsibility as well for the development of that cradle. That's it. Some are still not that happy about the international team that are working with us. That's unfortunate, but it's going to be expanded upon. It has to be. I will repeat what was said, I think, in one of the broadcasts. I think the first or the second, I'm sorry, I can't remember. And it was, if we need something done in Africa, if we want something done within one of the nations, if we wish their support and assistance, we need to speak to the people there and send in the people there who can speak to the people in accordance to their language, in accordance to their culture, in accordance to everything that is needed to get it done the right way. Idem dito for the nations outside. I will not support division of any kind. I will not support racial discrimination, gender discrimination, religious discrimination of any kind. I cannot, I will not, and shall not. It is wrong. We should be looking not at the color or the nationality of who is coming to help Africa, but the quality of the work and the commitment and the will to help Africa. I shall repeat. If something was to happen to me or any of us at any time, and we have to be taken to a hospital or anywhere else, do we say we rather not have your support, we rather not have your help based on ignorance? Absolute and utter ignorance. It's not right, it's not good, and I am not going to promote it. I am very sorry. I have to grow a thicker crocodile skin, but so be it. But it's not going to change because it will be wrong. We are not helping Africa. The agenda, the mission must be the focus. And that mission must be the focus of the Task Force 1, 2, and 3. It is the focus of the Federation. And the domino effect of it must be more important than the negative nonsense that at times that we put in our head. I am sorry, I like to say it straight. To address the agenda of Africa, it means we are using the resources at our options and the support of our affiliated partners to get the agenda done. I'm not too concerned of the financing part of the agenda. I'm more concerned of the daily operations, day-to-day course that we have to work so very hard to get, because we do not depend on donations, we do not depend on loans. We try to earn it as best we can ourselves, but it is not always that easy, but we are doing it. And we are doing it because we have got to show the example of the change, that we need to get up and make the change. If you stand still in stagnant waters, without those waves, change are not going to come. It's not going to come. We can wait a very long time, can we not? It's important to realize as well that with the addressing of the 55 Nations Development Agenda and the years that will be needed to secure that change, to realize that change, it means as well within the participating nations, within the participating regions, employment is therefore generated, because we will need a massive amount of people in every area and every sector of trade, of services, and whatever else needed to facilitate the ongoing development agenda. It's not going to happen in a day, but it does not mean we should wait until tomorrow and another tomorrow and tomorrow to get it started. This agenda is going to have a massive effect, not only within Africa, but outside of Africa. Because though Africa has a lot of the materials that is needed, Africa has a lot of the professionals that is needed, we do not have the amount that is needed to facilitate this agenda, and that is the realistic truth. Furthermore, what do we have if we say, let Africa rise, let Asia rise, let China rise, let everyone rise, and a part of the world that is needed to sustain that rise is going down and down and down and down? We're not helping each other, because it means it will affect economically everyone else, and more important, humanity. It's important. Therefore, it is necessary that we expand not only the task force, but the task force localized chapters of ArcNubia Royal chapters, and that it be operated from within the ARC Central headquarters. We do not need to go and see how we're going to get more finances and more money to have the local offices and this and that. No, it's not necessary. We have the e-headquarters, use it. We can say we want all to have an office outside. Actually, I work quite comfortable from wherever I am, as long as I can plug on my laptop and there's electricity. I'm fine. If we are able to use the tools we have and use it strategically in the right way, then we have better the possibility to apply and to succeed on this agenda. Project 7 Phoenix is not something that started today. It took very many years, a lot of sacrifices. It cost a few people along the road their lives because of corrupt political practices. Project 7 Phoenix is a project that has been worked on for very many years. It is not something of day before yesterday, and it's definitely not something from yesterday. It's something that we have put in a lot of effort in. Although on the headquarters website we have a summation of the project, it is not the entire project. It's just too huge to post there, and most people, it's just too much for them to read unless they're really interested in getting deeper into that. Therefore, the e-headquarters and the ArcNubia is very important. It's very important because it is then the central international operations headquarters where all will be managed, and communications from Africa and whichever countries our task force members are in, who are also part of the Royal Order, wherever they are, we are at any time able to step in and do what is necessary and see what can be done. It's very important, if you're interested in joining the task force, that you as well take the prep and orientation training. We need to understand protocols. We need to understand policy. We need to understand the social and cultural nature of the people where we are going to. We need to know. You need to have a good understanding of the project. You need to have a good understanding of the federation, and you need to have a heart. And it's as much as most of us have a heart, it just means we just need to have the will and ready to commit to this and see that it is done, and it is done. To activate the project, as we said before, we have been working for the last few years on finding and finalizing the right way, not only to address the development agenda, to support economically, to support socially, to support culturally, but as well, how can we bring the people together for a unified purpose, that they forget all the negatives, forget the fighting, forget political dramas, or what the neighbors is doing, or what that is doing, or which tribe is doing what. No, we need unity. And as I repeated before, I made an error before 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we were discussing to have the royal tournaments within the Uganda area at the time. And I found it was just not the time. This is the time now, because now we have better the facilities in place to make it a realistic success. The tournament is important. It's very, very important, as all is to me, but this is extremely important, let's put it like that, because I think we can learn so much from history. It's our greatest wealth and our greatest resources if we just use it. And when you go back and you look in history, and within our history, and you go far enough back, you will see that the first civilization was formed by the Nubian nation, yes, but how? It was settlements and settlements and settlements and settlements that expand. And a major part of that was not only the wars to pull all together, but there was something else that was used. The tournaments. In Africa and the South world, there's lots of traditional sports and lots of traditional events where people come together. It's very social, it's the nature, people come together. And back in those days, the very wise leaders and kings and queens, what they did, they had tournaments arranged between the one chiefdom or the one kingdom and the other one. And the people from both sides had something to look forward to. Not only were they going there for the purpose of the tournament, but also it was an incredible tool to build alliances, to build friendship, to build business relationship, to build a lot on. So much so that as time passed, people not only looked forward to it, but started establishing themselves within the area towards that purpose that was annually. And it developed, and it developed. I believe strongly, at times, we have to step away from mainstream in order to change course if we see we are on a carousel going nowhere fast. I believe that as important as Project 7 Phoenix is, as important the purpose of that is, of even more importance is that we must see that there is unity between the nations in order to sustain it, or we are still passing on a legacy of division to the children and to the people we one day equally shall leave behind. It is wrong. It is so very wrong. The tournament will become, and not only for within Africa, because the intention is to have all of the people of all of the indigenous nations as well invited, including within the Americas, the Caribbean, Asia, the US, Europe, wherever they are, you're welcome, come. And the protocol of the tournament is tradition. Tradition. You come in your traditional regalia. We have traditional games. We have some of the mainstream games. We have, I think it will be much more than a week for the planning that is happening. We'll have a bit of that. We'll have the royal galas. We'll use the opportunity because of the number of kingdoms and the kings and queens and chiefs and the people outside, everyone who's coming. We have now the opportunity as well to use it strategically, to have a few summits, to have discussions, to plan further on the agenda, to facilitate a lot. Equally important, economically, it helps build alliances. Socially, it gives the people something to look forward to. It gives the youth outside something to look forward to. And many people that would love to come to Africa and cannot, it gives now the opportunity for them to come, because the duplication of Project 7 Phoenix in the area means we are going into whatever region. What can we do in that region to help apply the Project 7 Phoenix development formula, see what we can do in that region, get the art chapters started, get the youths in the area involved, and a strict protocol for their involvement is, if you're good at sports or if you're good at whatever activities that is within the agenda of the tournament, we're there to help you. But if we need to see that roads are built in your area, you are going to help us clear the fields that the roads may be built, therefore participating in the development of your own region. It gives people back their integrity and their value if they can participate and if they have the voice, and it helps our youths as well to have the appreciation that they need, but also to feel that they are a part and they have a voice in their future, in their region, and whatever change, whoever, wherever is discussing as leadership, they must participate. Otherwise, all are puppets. It's important. We call that you do not need to be a rocket scientist even to come and support in the art. It's nice having people who are well qualified. We need them. But most important is people who are committed and who has the will to support the agenda. That is all. And you may not have 24 hours a day to support. You may not have 24 hours to apply and to help us where needed. But even the 30 minutes or the hour that you have, if you're willing to really commit that totally, that is more than enough. And when you think of the amount of hours so many of us spend online, 30 minutes, an hour a day or whatever, if we really want to, we can try and we can make the time and let it happen, because it's not just for my future or your future, but it's the generation that are coming behind us future. Many times we have discussions. I'm saying that very carefully because most times I try to avoid those discussions because I find it's going nowhere. Of people with, this happened in history and that happened in history and that happened in history and this and that. Fine. But remember, history repeats itself. There are no excuse for the negative repetition of history when we have the opportunity and the chance to see that it does not become, by changing ourselves and stop using the past as an excuse not to go forward in the future. It's not helpful. So we have a generation coming of our children of all nations, beautiful children of every creed and race, and we look for the children. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, you never know. I'm gone. All of us are gone. We have the children now who are older looking back. They would not be looking back at the generations behind us that we are looking back. They are looking back directly at us. And it does not matter if you are in the position to leave your child the best of everything. What matters, do we leave them the environment in order they can sustain and have the best possible life that they can, and not based on material, but based on the quality of life and the social environment where they can be safe to blossom and grow. Are we? Are we really? I say not. We are not. We are busy with matters of now. We today are the ancestors of tomorrow. We today have no excuse. None. We have a responsibility. And I believe with all my heart that this generation, not the one before, not the one to come, but this generation is a generation that is long written of, that has a responsibility. And this generation will be the deciding fact and factor on where the world goes tomorrow. Therefore, it's each our responsibility. A day or two ago, as I mentioned yesterday, one of the new task force officers, she stated it was a lot for the first session, and I explained maybe, but because of the tempo we will need to work with, because of the number of kingdoms and tribes that will be interconnected with the headquarters in the Ark. If we're saying already 275 offices that's interconnected, and you're talking about a few hundred kingdoms and the populations of those kingdoms and 55 nations that wish to participate, that will already also be coming there, we need to start at least training at the lowest possible tempo that we realistically can. It is necessary. And I also yesterday explained, I remember when I was doing my studies, I found it was important to study law, economics, and business. Not per se because I wish to become, more versed in any of that or practice any of the three. No. I found it was necessary in order to see to my responsibilities and functions as best I can, and to be able to participate and formulate and design whatever development formulas I find best to be applied as the leadership. I remember when I was studying law, I did public and private in a very short time because we had a time period where I needed to get a lot done. So it was heavy but interesting. It was done. I remember our professor saying, "Our dear Shebah, it's not necessary that you learn every single letter of the law, every article of the law. What is necessary that you know where to find what is needed in accordance that the law be well applied. I never forgot that at all. And I remember one of the reasons he was saying that is because when I had to study, I had the children. I was alone with the children. Their father had already passed. And we were trying to get the secretariat operating already from my home. I said that apples, picking the apples and packing the fish stuff and all of that things back in the past. In order to do that, what I used to do was I will get, once all the books came in for whatever of the subjects that had to be addressed, I had one of these, you know, those first Discman they had, and they had not the disc, the cassette recorders. You have the double cassette recorders one. I will take whatever time. I love reading. I do not have time anymore, unfortunately, but I will take those books and I will read them and record the entire book on cassettes. And when I'm on my way to anywhere, when I was busy in the home, whatever I was doing, I'll have my headphone up and this little thing hanging on the side. And I'll be hearing my own voice, but more important, I'll be hearing the contents. But by reading it and by verbally repeating it and putting it on tape, it helped me a lot. And most times I was quite a few months in advance of the material because I read through the book in a different language, but it was done and it was important. And I understood what the professor was saying. You do not need to do all of this, but it was necessary. It helped me, and he was right. Equally, I say, you do not need to know every single one of the 29, I think, or 30 independent sites of AKF that is integrated in one site, and every page that is within that, because that's a few hundreds. That is a few hundred. What you need to know is where to find what you're looking for as quickly as possible for yourself, or if you need to show it to a third party. The e-headquarters was finally finished last month after 6 years. We did first the sites, we saw first to the Arc, we saw first to the first 183 of the e-offices, and then we put on the front of the building, which I'm very proud of. I think it looks pretty good. And within that, we have as well the lobby and the atrium, which goes to the social community, and the entrance to the e-offices. You must familiarize yourself if you want to apply this agenda well and your responsibilities as task force officers. You must do your best to familiarize with the headquarters, front, the lobby, and the atrium. All already know, but still familiarize with the links and the access and the options within the atrium. That's all you need. From the e-headquarters, you have all the main offices, you have all the main information, and you have right at the top the directory. E-headquarters, lobby, and atrium, because you may indeed get lost. But if you're familiarized with that, if you know somebody wants to know about, have your pictures from the Royal Gallery, it's right there. You go on the headquarters, it's right there to be seen. Do you have information on the task force? There it is to be seen. The library, there it is to be seen. It is the front for everything that is behind it, which is a lot. So please, it's important you become familiar with that. Within the lobby, we have also more information, and also the information on the executives that are busy within the central office at present and being expanded upon. You have the information, you have the CVs, so you have an idea with who we're working with, and information on the Royal Order, further on the task force. You have everything there. You want to know about the Imperial House Foundation? Then you go to the office of the Imperial House Foundation there. You want to know the ArcNubia network, you go to the ArcNubia network there. It's all there. You do not need to know every nook and cranny and every page. Do not frustrate yourself with that. Just go to the e-headquarters or send the parties there. It's easy. We're trying our best to make it easier, but there's a point that it's just not possible anymore. But just go and become very familiar with it. That's important. Yesterday I explained as well about the tournament, but also the important part of the tournament that we want to have promoted is our Angel Flight Air Ambulance project. That is the trophy project of the tournament, because I wanted to choose one of the projects that not only unified all, but was of unified interest to all. And the air ambulance in Africa is important. At present, it's being established in South Africa with long, medium, and short range helicopters in order step by step to facilitate this agenda. We are busy. We are busy building on investors because that is needed for that, and as well to see how can we expand the clinics and clinics with airstrips as well, that the air ambulances can be multifunctional when they are not used or not needed for that first purpose. They can be used to support the rural regions in terms of cargo trade or getting things into the city as well. The clinics are equally important when they are not being used, that they can be used by the area for schools, for higher education or adult education where it's needed. It can be used in order to train the farmers to form a more customized market, because the markets in Africa need to be customized. You cannot have two countries next to each other, for example, growing exactly the same products. It needs to be customized, that you have better products and you can better facilitate the needs globally. It is important, and as well internally. So we're trying to see that whatever agenda is applied, that it is also multitask as well. And the air ambulance project and angel care is the trophy project for the tournament as well. So that is our focus as start and that tournament. So we need the task force expanded. We need all the help we can get. Somebody was such a dear today, a dear friend, to say he has my back. I say thank you so much, because it has been such a hectic day. And we need them to have not only my back, but this agenda, because it's important. Whilst the tournament is being done annually throughout the year, the events that will be necessary in order for the participation of the respective teams or units is going to be held. Therefore, there will be events in the respective region to get the best players and to get this and the best artists that will be performing. So there's a lot of activities that will be done, and also again necessary that we have task force from those regions, from the people thereof. I'm trying to remember what else yesterday we have discussed. Unfortunately, I'm using a different system, so I do not have access to my laptop to take a quick note further. But I think I've covered most. I do not want to take too much of your time. I know a lot of people are facing the issue of very, very bad weather this evening. It's terribly, terribly hot here, hence I'm sorry, just my normal two plaits. I prefer just to have my plaits when in private, and it was just too hot to put on any wigs today. It's just too hot, and so it's a bit scary for some. It's me. What else did we cover yesterday? I think I've covered most of it, and whatever else, let's leave it for the other broadcast. The task force one broadcast for this evening will not be sent out. This one has been done in place because of the time issues of the other team, and as well because a lot of people are based in the US and there is a lot of weather conditions there. May I ask all, please be safe, take care of yourselves, and be very, very careful if you're outside. And if you can help anyone, be the first to go and help them, because that's the task force for you. Okay, thank you ever so much. May I thank all of my friends on Facebook and give you a shout out and a wave. Thank you so much for all your nice words and your commitment. And I just had a quick glance and saw there was pictures with coffee and everything else. That is just so very sweet of you, and it's just so nice. My gracious thanks to you all. I am really ever so grateful for every little appreciation and support of this agenda and what we are doing. Know that if there's any questions, do feel free to ask me. However, I will ask you do come to the ARC, not because I'm trying to pull all to the ARC. No, it's just easier for me to follow up my emails in the inbox. My Facebook one is really out of control. It's really when I'm there and I see, that red box pop up quickly. And at times it's very painful because I see some people had written so many letters before, but it's because I was there when the one they just sent came in that I was able to see it. But on the ARC, it's really just a small community, so I can see every day. And then I've got a lot of staff there as well that can just check, and they don't go into the inbox, but they'll say, you've got to check this and got to check that. So I can really address it almost immediately, or at least daily, or within the first 24, 36 hours if the need be. So thank you all very, very much. And I hope that more will come and join the task force. I hope I was able to explain everything today. I'm tired I'm sorry if I cannot go on much longer on this, because it's really very hot here and I'm really very tired. But I feel better after this, so that's pretty nice too. Thank you so much. Have a great day. This is Shebah III, and I have been speaking to you from our very simple AKF TV on the ArcNubia network. If you have not found it as yet, please go to my wall and you will have the links to get here as well. If you want to find the Federation site, the easiest will be to go to www.nubia-sheba with an h-kingdoms.com, or just Google Arc of Nubia. You will come there. You will get there, okay? Thank you so much. Have a great day further. I will see you all in the atrium shortly, and make a short visit to my Facebook wall before I give myself a break for today and go play with Nala. Thank you so much. It was all very kind of you. Have a good evening. One and light. Bye-bye.